Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the We Do Marketing Hour. Super stoked to have not only a family member, but an absolute friend, longtime friend, over 30 years with me here today. We had an amazing dinner the other night at Council Oak at the Hard Rock. And man, we just started just thinking back on how we grew up, how far we've come along for the way we've grown up. And, you know, it was an unexpected situation for, I'm sure, a lot of our teachers or a lot of our own peers thinking where we would end up based on how we grew up. So Andy Lopez here with me. What's up, my brother? It's so good to see you, man. Came all the way from Seattle, Washington, and is spending the week here with us and hanging out with family and friends and also doing some work. First of all, let me say thank you for serving, because Andy's a Marine, and not only a Marine that served for the country, but one that is still serving not only for Marine Corps, but also Veterans Affairs quite a bit. You speak on that. You work with it. I'd love to hear more about it. But tell me what's going on, man. Andy, what's going on? Tell me about life.
What a ride. As you said, I mean, we got together the other day, and it was flashback. We went way back to when we first started. Life is good. I'm working with mygoodtrust.com. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for them. We are actually a digital legacy management platform that also offers estate planning solutions, like a trust, a will, power of attorney, all those things. It's been a great ride. We are the first in our space to offer a way to manage all your digital assets the way we do. So it's been a fun ride. It's been a really fun ride. But who would have thought we would be sitting here today? Those two kids, I mean, there was just a handful of us.
Right.
And we were set up to fail from the beginning. And we started grinding and stepping up and doing what's required. I know the military helped me a lot to change my mindset. But you start looking at what really molded us into who we are today. It was a lot of those hard moments that we went through as kids. A lot of the bad things that we did as kids.
All the bad things.
Taught us what not to do.
I love that you said mindset, because I've spoken on this quite a bit, and I didn't do the military. I applied for the military, almost left for the Marines, but changed my mind and at the last minute, actually the day before leaving. Still kind of have regrets about that, but either way, for you, that was great that it helped with that mindset to build you up as a human, build that mind, build your body. For me, it was a struggle for a long time to build that up, to get that mindset, like that poor kid mindset where, stealing, jacking, fighting, doing all those different things were the only way to get to where you needed to go, because we felt we had no chances or opportunities. But here we are with the world as our oyster, just opportunities open in every platform.
I remember the first time I saw you post something, and I started thinking, I said, what are the odds that two of us that grew up the way we did, so close to each other, did so much together like family, haven't spoken to each other for so many years, and we're walking similar paths, different industries, but speaking in public, inspiring others, driving forward, not letting anything take us down. And then I see you speaking on camera. I'm like, hey, I do that too.
Right, it's very similar paths.
It just made me very proud of what you're doing, and reminded me that we've had a lot of things that were designed to stop us.
Right.
We've had calamities. We've had things that disrupted our world. And in our first conversation, we were talking, and I said to you, I said, only a fool trips over what's behind them. And we still talk about those things that we did, because that's our springboard.
Right.
That's the thing that pushed us to be better, to move forward, to not quit, to always ask for the answer, which is yes or no. Don't give me a maybe. I don't believe in maybes.
Exactly. Well, remember when we were talking also, we were very fortunate that one of our great friends' dads was a sensei and taught us fighting and discipline growing up. Did we always use it for good? No. But one of the things I still remember till this day, and he must have stolen it from Yoda, he said, you don't try, you do. Trying is the attempt to fail. So that always stuck in my head. Like every time I catch myself saying trying, I think Sensei Ron saying, yeah, you don't try, right? And he would kick your ass if you continued using the word try. So it was always like, I'm going to do this as opposed to try, was a great thing to say. Another thing that sticks, when we were at dinner, we were talking back and telling stories that we haven't heard from or talked about in over 20 years. And my wife says, wow, you guys were scrappy. And I think if it wasn't for us being a little scrappy, we probably wouldn't have had the same drive to hustle.
I agree with you. Being scrappy did that, but it also built our bond. The way we counted on each other to be there all the time. We depended on each other. We had each other's back. In the military, too, I got your six. I sit down at a restaurant, and I'm strategic of where I sit. When I'm with people like you, like my brother, like Dickie, and all these other guys that we hung out with, if I sit down, it doesn't matter where I'm sitting because I know that someone's always watching my six.
Right.
It's that way with me and other Marines. I can sit down in just about any spot when I'm with other Marines because I know that they've got my six. Understanding where we came from, what we do, and how we emotionally used to react to things versus how we strategically react to things today. During the conversation, we're like, remember how I reacted during that? And, when I got kicked out of this place or that place. And regrets, we have a lot. But we remember them now, not as regrets, but as stepping stones.
Yeah, stepping stones. Yeah, for sure. It's funny, the things that we went over on dinner, and we've definitely come a long way, and I'm excited, and I'm proud of you, and obviously proud of your brother, and a lot of our friends that actually we were talking about. We even mentioned Billy the other day. I'm like, wow, Billy did some time away, and now he owns a bar. So it's important to note, second chances are absolutely amazing, and you got to have that drive, right? That drive really pushes you. It's funny that we grew up a certain way, but I have this conversation with so many wealthy entrepreneurs that we work with on a daily basis. Are we ruining our kids by giving them absolutely everything because they didn't have the opportunity to grow like we did? We pushed them away from it. We hid it from them, or we just protected them from living that lifestyle. Do you feel the same way that our kids might not have the same hustle and drive because they didn't have to live the way we did? Or do you think they have a different drive that's driven by they stepped up in their growth, right? They didn't grow down here. They grew up here. So their mindset, you can only look upwards, right? Not looking backwards.
I think as we get older, we still romanticize how we were brought up and the hard ways we grew up. I mean, I still remember this. Just, hello, my name is Andy. I work for Youth Opportunity Unlimited. It's a program designed to keep me busy and out of trouble. I am saving these mornings to buy a computer because I want to go to the college. I'm selling today these 3 candies, peanut butter, caramel, no cluster, and the gummy bear. Which one you like best? That was my script. That's how I learned English, knocking on doors, selling candy. Those experiences taught me how to not hear no, how to always look for a yes, to trust someone that was trying to teach me, and kind souls that were put in our path when we were younger,
right,
really helped us survive where we were. Kids today, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. I have a friend who's got 2 kids. He's mega wealthy, does really well. His children are focused on other things. They're coding already.
Wow.
But they're strict. He expects the kids to do what's required. He grew up that way. For us, as we have our children grow, I don't give my daughter everything. I wish I could, but my wife always reminds me, you can't just do it for her. Mm-hmm. You have to let her learn. I don't think the grit that we have exists in some of them today, but the audience has changed.
Right.
And the environment has changed. What made that valuable to us back then, it scares people today.
Excellent point. Excellent point. So let's go backwards a little bit. So when we were talking the other night, I didn't know the history because it had been so long, but you owned a funeral casket company specific to the military?
Yeah. We designed caskets around the dress uniform of the branch of service. And throughout that time, I was doing consulting and working with other companies. For me, it was a labor of love. We gave away more than we actually sold, and then eventually it became a thing that people started using. It was disruptive in the profession because there was Batesville Casket Company. You didn't go against the casket companies, but I only had military caskets that were made in the U.S. for veterans.
Wow.
And it was special. And now you think about a company like Batesville now makes the exact replica of the caskets that we designed and used to sell. So it's my little stamp in the funeral space. And I used to joke all the time, I'm the last guy to let you down.
And so was that a springboard into what you're doing now, or did you do something after that? Because you're still somewhat in the funeral space, but you're working also with law firms. So this is going to be great for a lot of lawyers listening out there.
Working a lot of verticals right now. So before I had the casket company, I actually was hired by a guy named Gaither. Once again, you have these people that are just mentors that believe in you. And we travel the country teaching continuing education seminars. He taught me how to speak to an audience. He taught me how to capture my audience. He reminded me of when to pause when I spoke. He was dramatic. He would have all these things, and he would throw them on the floor as he spoke. It was just tactics to get your audience captured. He always said, if they're not listening with their eyes, they're not listening with their ears. And I remember that. And it was the funnest time of my life, learning how to really impact an audience, inspire people, and really ask them to take action. He always finished with an action item, a call to action. He never just finished softly. And I believe in that. So I started with that. Then with the casket company, I knew in order to get it out there, I needed to be invited to speak at places so I could talk about what I did and why I did it. And that slowly began to morph into more things. I met my wife, Jessica, at a funeral conference. Yeah.
Great story, by the way.
That day I buried my heart and gave it to her. I said, here you go. It's in a casket. You can have it.
I love all the funeral metaphors.
Okay, I'm just going to kill that joke now.
Yeah, keep going. You're going to knock them dead. You are for sure. So tell me a little bit about my Goodtrust. I mean, I was looking at it online. It's an app. It's absolutely intelligent. Like you said, you're disrupting the market and putting something that a lot of us don't want to talk about or even think about and organizing it, right? So talk a little bit more about that, the owner and the origins of the company.
So Goodtrust is a startup, Silicon Valley. Rickard Steiber and Daniel Seberg started the company. They wrote a book about digital legacy. Great book. What we did with the platform, it's morphed into what it is today. Initially, it was because Rickard's father passed away and he couldn't get into his dad's Google Pictures and extract the information. And Rickard was an executive at Google and he still couldn't do it. So he said, there's got to be a better way. That's where the digital legacy management started, where you actually enter every application, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those things, and you assign a trusted contact. So you can say your son will have access to your Facebook account when you die, or they can close or memorialize it. It's like 36 million dead people on Facebook today.
Wow.
I mean, do you have one or two that says, hey, it's so-and-so's birthday, and you know they're dead? It's terrible. It happens. But think about mileage plans. Your miles, your points, if you don't transfer that within 30 days after death, most of the time they expire, they're gone, and 1 billion points go waste every year because no one transfers them to their loved one. So we created this platform to allow people to manage their analog life and their digital life, and that's where the estate planning came in. People started asking for that. We created a funeral planning guide that took off real fast, and then we started thinking, okay, what else do we need? So financial wellness is one of the most important things that our society is actually going through today. It's a buzzword that's everywhere. And what does it mean to have financial wellness? You may have money in the bank, you may have stocks, you may have a great retirement plan, but without transfer of wealth mechanisms in place that protect those assets when you're gone, you allow states to take over, you allow fights within your family, you break families.
Right.
I see relationships destroyed because there's no transfer of wealth. So we put a will, a trust, a power of attorney, advanced directives, all in one place that you can do digitally for a very low cost, because that's why people don't do it. Do you have a will?
I do.
When's the last time you updated your will?
We just redid it about a year ago.
So you're one of few.
Right.
2/3 of Americans do not have a will. Did you know that? That's a stat.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think we have one estate planning lawyer on our roster of clients, and we learned a lot. But when we did, it was crazy what we learned. I mean, the whole process, all the different questions you got to ask yourself. And you're right, they said the statistics. But going back to what you said earlier, it's because we had a mentor. We had somebody that came in and be like, look, dude, you own a business, you have a family, you have all this. This is stuff you need to get done. Yeah. So early on in life, I think we set all that up. I was like 27 when we had our house. We got all of our estate planning. And then finally, about a year ago, we redid the will. But I love the organization. I was looking at the app today, and I'm like, oh, shit, I probably need to jump on that as soon as possible.
And think about who's impacting. So 86% of Latinos in the U.S. do not have a will. if you took every Hispanic person in the U.S. and put them together in one room, they would be the 5th largest country by GDP.
Wow.
This came out by Deloitte did a research study in the Latitude Conference in San Diego. They actually talked about this study, and that was one of the stats that came out. Then you have something like 76% of Black Americans no will, no trust, no power of attorney. And then you have 72% of Asian Americans and then 68% of white Americans. That's most of society has nothing in place to transfer, not just the wealth, but think about the trinkets, the things that matter the most.
Yeah.
Because that's what breaks families. My grandfather's guitar, he never wrote down in a will, and he gets it. I didn't get it until almost 20 years later when my niece had it in her closet and her cat was using the cover.
Oh my gosh, a scratch on it. No.
Yeah, and I finally got it. So it happens, and it hurts people. So we feel like it's tech for good. It's actually a financial wellness product, and we offer it as an employee benefit. People license it and co-brand it. We actually have estate attorneys that I can't mention that are actually using it to do beta tests. And one of our co-workers, Robin, she has been in estate planning attorney world for a long time. So she is an amazing person to have on our team.
Wow. What's the website?
MyGoodtrust.com.
And then if somebody wanted to get a hold of you?
Oh, it's easy. It's Andy at mygoodtrust.com or 314-853-4096 is my cell phone. And if you go online and go to mygoodtrust.com and you put Andy 12 free, as in 1, 2, and the word free, you'll get free access to my website for a year.
Awesome. Now we're going to jump into some fun questions. Well, Andy is a lover of Elvis Presley, a lover of karaoke, also studied theater like I did early on in life, did some work back then as well, but is an avid singer. What's your favorite song, Andy?
Oh, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. It's my wedding song, and my wife's listening, so I have to say that.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
If I could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? That I was kind.
What's something about you that most people familiar with your work wouldn't know?
That I was in boy bands.
And a great dancer, too. Oh, my God, I remember that. Oh, my God, we're going so way back. All right, that's true. MC Hammerpants right here, this guy. In your opinion, what is the most important personality trait, strength someone would need to work in your industry and be successful in your job?
Zeal. You have to have that grit. You have to have the ability to hear no on a regular basis, to be punched in the face and move forward. It's an acquired skill. You have to be willing to do. You can't teach that easily. You have to want to learn it.
I agree. I've got a friend in HR, and he's always, complimenting people that he hires. Even my son, he just talks so much about his personality. He's like, man, those are the kind of traits in people that you cannot teach. You just got to be born with it. And there's so many things you can learn. What is your favorite productivity hack for entrepreneurs?
Well, there's so many great tools today. If anything, I say the one thing that becomes a bottleneck is when we have too many tools that we try to implement at the same time, because then your innovation department becomes your self-prevention department. So you have to understand that maybe a simple spreadsheet will do the job over having a very complicated CRM if you're not working at that scale. But also having a CRM and having it work for you, not everyone will use it the same way. So often as leaders, we expect our team to do it our way, but allow your team to actually let you know what works for them and leverage that. That way you get the most out of that person rather than put them in the spot where they're not going to succeed. They're not going to give you their very best because they don't know how. You hire people for a reason. Let them do their job. Best hack out there, use Slack to communicate.
Love Slack. What's something you learned in the Marine Corps that you're still using today?
There's a lot of things I learned in the Marine Corps that I apply today, and I'll give you 2 answers. Personally, is that drive to not quit, that they took what I learned as a kid and made me believe I could. And I graduated boot camp. I did 65 dead hang pull-ups. I still remember that they were counting it, and I probably could have done more, but I was already scared that I did too many. That belief that I'm not going to quit, not being a pessimist, that's the one thing that really, really sticks with me every day. When I'm done, when I'm tired, when I'm upset, when I'm angry, I tap into that, and somehow I can flip that switch most of the time. If not, my wife tells me flip the switch, and I do it. As a leader, the best leaders I worked with in the military did one thing. They listened and cared about their soldiers, Marines, and sailors. They listened and knew how to connect with them. So when you needed them to jump, there was no question. Leadership begins with tact. It's the most important trait of leadership. So I try to apply that everywhere I'm at.
Excellent. What's one question you wish I'd asked, and how would you have answered?
Actually, one question I wish you would have asked is, why is our friendship still what it is after all these years not being around each other? And it begins and ends with trust. Trust. I just got chills.
I know, I got chills. I'm like, damn, I'm going to cry.
I would right now, without thinking about it, hand you my wallet and my house keys and go, hey, go take care of whatever you need. I've got you, because I can make more money. I can start over. But if I have it, it's yours. It's how we are.
It is how we are. There's a certain generosity in that, right? And a certain trust that comes easy to the strong-held friendships and bonds, right? It's like a true bond that we have, and it was amazing at dinner, really finding that again and recovering it again, right?
And our spouses, I was like, watching us go
back. It was so amazing. It was awesome. I had a blast. And by the way, I was out way too late. Yesterday was ruined for me. I had to go to the gym. I did legs yesterday, and I did like the least I possibly could just to get through the workout because I was exhausted. Plus, I don't even usually drink that much, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I was tired too. When I did squats, well, actually, I was squatting down to grab my keys from the floor. That was hard. No, it was wonderful to have that.
Yeah.
And really connect like that and talk about those things, because at the end of the day, we don't take any of this with us.
Nope.
We leave behind moments, memories, and hopefully inspiration that others may tap into, so they're inspired to be motivated. Because if you motivate people, they walk away and fizzle out. But if you inspire them, hopefully they walk away and do something what you just gave them.
Awesome, man. So thank you guys for watching. So happy to have my friend Andy here on the show with me. We are excited about possibly doing other things together. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach me at alex@WeDoWeb or Andy at mygoodtrust.com. Thank you again for watching. Any questions, let us know. Email us. Reach out. If you want Andy to come in and speak at any time, make sure you reach out. He's an amazing speaker, inspirationally. Want to learn anything more about the platform at My Goodtrust, make sure you use his, what was the free?
Andy, 12 free. It's
12
my
free.
Name, 1, 2, and free, as in gratis.
All right. Peace out. Thanks a lot.